Hello, welcome back. Wait a minute. Actually, let's change up the background for a little bit. And there we go. That's better. Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to give you all a little story, a little update, whatever, whatnot, a long awaited update that I've been wanting to tell y'all, but I just didn't know how to. We're sitting in my somewhat still brand new car. I'm gonna say my new car. Woo! Yes, I got a new car. I never actually made like a video me talking about the process of me getting a new car, because that was a process for sure. So we're here in the new car. It is a 2023 Mazda CX-5 Carbon Edition. Do I know why it's carbon? I would think because of the outside of it. I'll show you all with the whole scale of the car later, but that's what I'm thinking. So the story behind me getting a new car, basically my old car, which I will show now. So this was my first car. We had a blue Jetta Volkswagen sedan. You know, she did her job, she did her thing. She was up to date for 2017. Yeah. Again, on the inside it's pretty messy, but that's why I gotta clean it. Yeah. And then, so yeah, this is her. Just a lot of memories. God, college memories too in this car. The reason why I no longer have that car is because I gave that car to my dad. Well, he helped me get it in the first place, and then recently this year, a little bit last year, he's been having car issues, like troubles with his car, and like he was just kind of fed up at the point where he was looking into new cars, and I was like, well, the job he does is that he drives a lot, so it takes a toll on the car itself. And I was like, well, my car is not that old, but it's not that new, so I think it'd be better for him to use that car versus him getting like a new car or like a newer used car. So I was like, why don't I give you my car and then I'll go look for a car myself that I feel like that I would want. And he was like, okay. So that's kind of how it started. This conversation happened in like April, I want to say. Yeah, around like April time. So that was the kind of like segue, me being like, okay, I gotta go now car shopping or looking for a new car. And he loves it. He's like, oh, this is great. So this whole car situation was starting solely from scratch. Like I had to do everything like solely like on scratch and stuff. When I first started looking to see, okay, how to even go about purchasing a car or getting a new car, I was looking at like different articles to kind of see like, okay, what are the people saying? What are the experts saying? What are the people saying? Like, what do I need to do to purchase a new car? And there's two articles I used. I used one from NerdWallet because I really like NerdWallet. I feel like it's kind of like a business for dummies kind of thing. Or it's just like information just dumbed down enough that I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then also I used Kelley Blue Book, which is a very famous car website, automotive website, to help you learn about like different cars and all this stuff. So if anyone, so I'll probably put those in below. I'll put those down below. Like, this video is not for me to like flex on y'all that I got a new car. It is it's just something like I kind of want to share with everybody, because this is something I never thought I would be able to do, especially so soon, like working and stuff like that. I didn't think it was gonna happen like so soon. And like, if anyone is ever interested in purchasing a car or getting a new car and they don't know where to start, I'm hoping like I can provide everyone enough information that I was able to learn throughout this process, so someone else can feel more confident and more comfortable going into a dealership or going into wherever and knowing what they want to buy and how, and knowing all the information they need in order to get a new car. So with that, let's move on. Now I need to figure out, well, what the heck do I even want? Like, what do I even want in a car? Like, what are the features I want and all this stuff? Like, what do I want and that I can afford? Because I wish Girly Pop was, you know, making 6 figures and can afford like a luxury brand car, but no, that's not the case. We're gonna go for affordable and reliable. That's literally what it was. I literally looked up affordable and reliable cars. Story time. A while ago, my Volkswagen was in the shop because it had to get its tires replaced or something like that. I don't remember. And I had to go to LA literally like a couple days later, and they said, oh, the car's not gonna be done in time. So I was like, well, shoot, what am I gonna get? And then so Volkswagen provided me a car. They're like, oh, you can drive this one, it's fine. And I said, okay. So I was driving it with my best friend Anais, and she was like, this is nice, like this is a nice spacious car. And at first I was nervous because I've never driven like a bigger car. It was kind of more like a crossover, so it wasn't like a big SUV, so it was like a kind of a smaller SUV, small SUV, whatever. So she was like, this is nice, like this is very spacious and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I like it. So then I was driving it and I was like, it doesn't feel like a big car, because that's what I was very nervous about. Like, it doesn't feel like a big car, it feels like an actual regular car. So I said, okay. So then now when I was looking for cars, I was like, huh, you know, I do travel, I do drive a lot, so maybe having a bigger car would be nicer. I wasn't looking into like sedans and like the, just, you know, the regular cars. I was like, you know what, maybe getting a bigger car would be nice. But I also see how much they cost, because I also know bigger means more expensivo, and I don't know if I can afford that. So after thinking, okay, that's whatever, I wanted a bigger car, but I also wanted to think of like what other features I want. So my old car's 2017. It didn't have Apple CarPlay. It had Bluetooth and I really liked it, but I really wanted Apple CarPlay for my maps, for my music, all this stuff. I wanted that. And so I was like, okay, Apple CarPlay for sure. The technology, I wanted the technology to be better. So it's like, cool. I also wanted power seats. So like the buttons that can move your seat back and forth and up and down, all that stuff. I wanted that because I was tired of adjusting my seat manually, and like, I don't know, that was just kind of me being picky, but like I just really wanted that. If I was gonna get a bigger car, I wanted a power lift gate. So basically what a power lift gate is that you push the button and the trunk goes. I wanted that because I'm 5'4", 5'3", 5'4", whatever. And I was nervous, whatever car I was gonna get, and I'm not gonna reach the trunk. I'm gonna be too short. My T-Rex arms are gonna, yeah.
But he does have a pair of tiny, apparently useless arms.
So that's kind of what I wanted in terms of a car. So then I was like, okay, what brands we got? Like, what car brands do we have? And another point I wanted to look into was, am I getting a new car or am I getting a used car? But here's the situation, here's the tea. Used cars are literally the same price as a new car nowadays. Like, I can be like, for example, my 2023 was the same price as a 2021 like Audi or something like that. So it's more of like a luxury brand, sure. It's more of a higher price, sure. But it's 2 years older, has 29,000 miles on it, or 30,000 miles on it already, and it's the same price as my new car, the 2023, with only 26 miles on it because it was only in the lot. And yeah, it's new. So I was like, I'm gonna stick to getting a new car, because if it's literally the same thing of me getting a used car, I'd rather just get the new car. So that's just kind of how the market is right now. It may change in the future, who knows? Maybe in the future it will be better to get a used car, a new car, whatever. It might be better. Now I had to look at car brands, what I wanted. So I was looking up, again, affordable and reliable. And 3 car brands that popped up was actually Mazda, Toyota, and Honda. There were a couple honorable mentions like Subaru, Nissan, Kia / Hyundai. Like, yeah, those were like some honorable mentions, but I was more interested in Toyota, Honda, and Mazda. So I looked up Honda and Toyota first. And Honda, if I wanted a bigger car, it was gonna be a CR-V, and I don't know, I just don't really like the looks of a CR-V. Call me picky, but like, I just don't like it. I think the back is a little wonky, but the 2023 one did look nice. Like, when I was looking at it, it did look nice. But also, Honda CR-Vs are a lot more pricey versus like a Toyota or a Mazda, surprisingly. But I think it's because it's so much wanted, like everyone wants a Honda, that they're gonna up the price for sure. So I looked at the Honda CR-V. It had the features I wanted, but the problem was the features I wanted, it was gonna be the highest trim level. So the trim levels are basically different types of the model you're gonna get. So there's like the, I don't know the exact term, I think it was like the EXL. Oh no, that's Toyota. No, that's Honda. I don't know. But yeah, so basically basic trim level, mid trim level, high trim level. That's kind of like what it was. The basic and the mid did not have my electric seats. They didn't have my power lift gate. Nothing. They didn't have those 2, and I was like, well, I want those 2. The highest trim level had the 2 I wanted, and I was like, well, that's like $40-something thousand MSRP. So that's not even including sales tax and everything else you're gonna put on top of it. So the out the door price is gonna be like $50-something thousand. And I was like, nah. I guess I should mention like my budget for this, for purchasing a car. I knew I can do $700 a month, but I wasn't thinking monthly budget right now. I was thinking like overall, like I could, because then I'm like thinking like, okay, what's the percent, like what's the interest rate I'm gonna get and everything. So I'm thinking like the highest interest rate I could possibly get is like a 7-something, 8%. Well, then I can pay like 7-something a month or whatever, whatnot. So budget wise is about out the door, or not out the door, but stated price MSRP, I was looking more like a $32,000, $33,000 car. I was looking at Hondas, and then there's just something about the interior. Like, I'll show a picture. Like, the interior was nice, but, and some people love it. Like my friend Tony, my best friend Tony, she got a new Honda, 2023 Honda, and it looks great. But like, there's just like this, there's like these like, what is it? I don't know how to describe it. It's like where the vents are, like where the air vents are, like in the front, and it's kind of like a cross. I don't know. It's very like railing looking. I don't know. I'll show the picture. You can decipher how it looks. I just personally don't care for it. It looks like a vent. Like, it just, the whole thing just looks like a vent, and then you have like the air vent itself. So it's just like vents, and then, because I'm thinking like, does the whole thing shoot air at you? But no, it's just the design, and I didn't really care for it that much, so I was like, eh, pass, it's okay. So Honda's is out, and I didn't even really test drive a Honda because the wants for Hondas is so high. They didn't have the car that I wanted to test drive at all in like the areas I was in or whatever, so, and they didn't have like the time for it. So I was like, that was a sign, Hondas weren't the vibe for me, and you know what, it's okay because I probably saved quite a bit of money for that. Next up was Toyota, and I actually did get to test drive a Toyota. I was looking at a Corolla Cross. It's a smaller SUV crossover, and I was like, okay, that's kind of like what I wanted. Okay, color was beautiful. There's a celestite color that I was looking at, and it was gorgeous. It was like a blue grayish, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Has everything I wanted for a reasonable price. I think the out the door was like not out the door, sorry, I keep thinking out the door. No, the MSRP price was about 30K, and I was like, oh my god, that's for like the highest trim level. So that's the high level right there. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was looking at it, the inside, basic. The Toyota Corolla Cross is based off of the Corolla, so in the inside is a basic Toyota model. Like, you ain't getting anything else. Toyota. So I made an appointment to go test drive this Corolla Cross. I got there, test drove, and I'll input the clip right here. So I'm currently test driving the Toyota Corolla Cross. So far it's really good. Like, I like it. I like the way it drives. Like, the turning radius is really good. Like, it's pretty stable. Like, when driving it, like, I don't feel like nervous or anything. Like, it feels like I'm comfortable driving it, from like going from a sedan to like more of like a crossover, like an SUV kind of thing. So I like it. I like the digital cluster it has here. I think that's really nice. The only thing I think I don't like is just like, it's just a very basic like Toyota interior, which again, like, you know, it's a Toyota, so it's a very basic Toyota interior. I honestly think that the passenger side has more room than like I do. Like, they have a lot of leg room. Like, I don't have as much leg room as the passenger side, so that's kind of weird. The driving was very smooth, very fine, whatever. But when I saw the back seats, man, were they small. Like, I was all like in the back, like, because I sat in the back for a little bit, and like, it was like the front seat. This is like my sitting position too. The front seat, and then it's like the back seats. Like, there's like barely any leg room. And I was like, oh, okay, I got it. It's small. And it's a Corolla Cross, like, it's small. And I was like, okay. But driving it was completely fine. Again, I had everything I wanted, but the room was just kind of not it for me. Like, it didn't have a great amount of room. You can say no, it's okay. Like, if you're not comfortable with the car that you drove and you're like, actually no, it's fine, just say no, you don't want the car. Toyota was kind of, I don't want to say it was a bust, because I know Toyota has a lot of great cars out there, and I was very close-minded in like what car I wanted, and I was like, you know what, it is what it is, you know, that was my experience, and I didn't want to continue with Toyota. So I was like, okay, let's do Mazda. Thinking there's gonna be 3 trim levels as the other ones, right? Nope, wrong. Why do they got 7 trim levels? Like, what? 7? 7?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 days a week.
So I was like, okay, what's the highest trim level I can afford technically? And it was the Carbon Edition, this one. But actually, I wasn't looking at a CX-5, I was looking at a CX-30. And CX-30, I actually test drove a CX-30 and a CX-5. My parents were actually with me for this one. My parents didn't come with me for Toyota, and they came with me to Mazda, so I guess that was a sign I get a Mazda. The CX-30 was really small, like, smaller than the Corolla Cross, I think. And I was like, oh no, because it was kind of more like a hatchback kind of car, and I was like, yeah, no. So I asked the guy, like, can we drive like a CX-5? And he was like, sure, yeah, because he had time. And I was like, okay, for sure. He said, do you want to drive the Carbon Edition for that one too? I'm like, yes. The Carbon Edition had basically everything I wanted. It had the power liftgate, it had the electric seats, it had the Apple CarPlay. What else did I say? Basically, that was kind of it, right? Yeah. It had everything. I was like, yeah, I want to drive that one. And I could afford it. Like, the MSRP price was like, I can afford it. So we drove it, and I was driving it and telling my mom, like, because she was texting me, I was like, I really like this car. And she was like, okay. She's like, so you're gonna go for it? I was like, yeah. Because I was like, I really like this car. I love the leather seats. Like, I love the red leather. I don't know why. I think it's really nice looking. And that was kind of the reason why I was drawn to the carbon edition, because I love the red leather seats. And then when I was driving it, it just felt right. Like, I don't know, it just felt like a car that I could see myself driving in for a very long time. We got back to the lot, and he was like, so what do you think? And I was just like, yeah, this is a really nice car, everything. He's like, yeah, it's good. And he's like, okay, do you want to run numbers? And I was like, sure. So now we're gonna get to the story about finance. Got back to the dealership, and he was like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to finance? You want to lease? You want to buy? Or you want to cash? And I said, finance. So basically what it is, cash is obviously you're paying everything up front. I wish I had that, but we don't get that. We don't get all that money. Leasing was kind of like you're basically renting a car for like 3-4 years, and if you don't like it, you return it. But it is a cheaper monthly payment, but you just can't, it's not your car technically, it's still the dealership's car. You're just kind of renting it out for 3 or 4 years, and then if you want to lease to buy, you can, but then they have to basically look over the car, see everything, and then refinance you the car, and then now you have another monthly payment. So I was like, I'm gonna finance it. Okay, cosign or not. Cosign is kind of like you have someone with you on the lease or on the thing to kind of be like, if all comes worse to worse, you have a cosigner. And I said, no, I would like to do it by myself, because I want to do this all by myself. I want to have this car under my name. Everything is me. We're doing it all me. He had to run my credit, and I remember for the past month eyeing my credit to be like, please, please, it has to be good. Because if you have a good credit, you have good interest rate. And basically, when you're financing your car, there's interest accrued like for your payments. So I wanted the lowest possible interest rate I could get. I was like, please, please, please. So then he was all like, well, I got news for you. I got 2 parts of news. What do you want? I was like, the news? Like, what news? And he was like, well, news is your credit's good. That's great. I've been stressing about it for a month and a half. And he was all like, and other news, you were able to get the car yourself. Oh, okay. So basically he was showing me the monthly payments and everything added on, extended warranties and everything. I got the extended warranties and everything. It was a set amount for a set amount of years, and it was a lot cheaper to do that versus like a set amount for 5 years or a set amount for 3 years. It was a lot cheaper to do for the longer amount of time for a little bit more. My interest rate was pretty low, thank God, because he said, if you do it with us, you will have a low interest rate. And I said, that's fine. Because there was also a time where I was thinking, do I want to get it from a credit union? Do I want to get a loan from a credit union or a bank or whatever? And I said, no, I'm going to trust my gut and see what the dealership has to offer, because sometimes now dealerships offer a pretty good interest rate. So he provided me the interest rate, and I was like, yeah, that is better. He's like, okay. He's like, what's your down payment? What do you want to put down? I said, $4,000. At first I said $3,500, and he's like, okay, that's fine. But then I was like, well, let's just do $4,000, because I know in the future Alyssa would kind of thank me a little bit later to put the extra $500. I was like, might as well. So I was like, let's just do $4,000. Okay, for sure. So we did the $4,000 down payment, and then he kind of did this is what your monthly payment's gonna be, and it was divided between 48 months, 60 months, and 72 months. For the lowest down payment, or the lowest monthly payment, I did the 72 months, because I was like, look, if I have the money to pay more, I'll do it, but I don't, I'm paying the lowest amount. It's totally fine. So I did that. So I did the lowest monthly payment for 72 months. So I'm locked and loaded for this car for a while. I had to pay off this car for a very long time, but it was worth it. So we signed all the contracts, and the guy was like, okay, you're good to go. And then so the guy who helped me on Mazda, Keith Akbar in Dublin Mazda, he was such a great help. He was like, yeah, we're just finishing up detailing your car, and after that we'll be good to go. So I got to the dealership at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, okay? 10 a.m. on a Saturday. I left the dealership with my new car at 2. That's pretty good. 4 hours? 4 hours. I call that a record. Like, that's pretty good, because I remember hearing people at the dealership at like 9 a.m. and leaving at like 4. Like, that's a whole work day almost. So I was like, 10 to 2? Like, that's pretty good. So we're gonna go back in time around June when I first got this car and it's like completely new, where old Alyssa is gonna give you a full tour of the car. So this is it. She upgraded to a bigger car. So this is a Mazda CX-5 Carbon Edition. And yeah, this is her. I'll show you the inside. So she got red leather interior. So it's not red, it's more like a dark cherry red. On the camera it looks a little like brighter, but she's like a dark cherry red. Go to the back. This is the back. The seats actually recline a little bit, which is cool. What's nice though here is that instead of, because there's usually for most cars there's USB ports down here, there's USB ports right there. This is the driver's side. My charger in here because Apple CarPlay. So this is not a touchscreen. It's controlled by this, but that's fine because you're not supposed to really be touching a screen anyway when you're driving, so that works out fine. It comes with a sunroof. Never had a sunroof in a car before, so I don't really know what to do with it. But yeah, it opens all the way and it tilts too. So, but let me show you my absolute favorite feature. Okay, so usually trunks, like, you do a manual thing. Not for this one. Nope, nope, nope. And it opens for you. And there's a lot of cargo space. And these seats pull down and you literally just need to pull here. And they'll pull down for you. There's even like a little charging port back here too. So that's cool. Oh, it also comes with spare tire. Yeah. And then I'm done with the trunk. You don't need to pull it down manually, you just push the button. And it'll go down. So yeah, that is the story of my brand new car and kind of like the process I had to go through to get the car. I'm so grateful that I have people to kind of help me learn information about getting a new car. And like my parents helped me out a lot in terms of learning what I needed to do and what I should learn about before purchasing a new car and everything. Like, they did help me out a lot. The internet, shout out to Google, helped me out a lot too. YouTube, oh my god, I watched so many car videos. My YouTube feed was nuts. Just a bunch of car videos, just learning what I needed to do, what not to do, and all that stuff. So they're all great resources. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna end the vlog here, end the video here. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in on my car story and my car vlog. Please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share, all that fun stuff. I'm sending good vibes your way, always. And I'll see you next time. Peace.